CBI has filed the closure reports in cases related to Sushant Singh Rajput's death. In fact, the closure report has been filed in 2 cases, and the closure report has been filed in a Mumbai court. These cases, they were taken up on the court's directions. The CBI has filed the closure report in Sushant Singh Rajput case. In 2 of the cases, in fact, as I mentioned, these cases were taken up on court directions. In fact, my colleague Radhika Ramaswamy also joins us at this point of time. Radhika, what is the future of this particular case as of now, and how do you think it is going to develop in the coming months?
As far as this case is concerned, CBI has filed its closure report. We know for a fact that initially the case was taken up by the Mumbai police. They had conclusively said that this was a case of suicide, but the family was not happy with the investigations, which is why the case went to Bihar police, because the family hailed from there. And after that, Bihar police registered a separate FIR with abetment of suicide and multiple other charges against Riya Chakrabarti and her family members. Then the family demanded a CBI probe, which is why the Central Bureau of Investigation took over the case sometime at the end of 2020. This incident happened, this death happened in June of 2020. In a few months down the line, CBI took over the case. But ever since the CBI took over the case, they had not spoken about any sort of development in the probe, anything different, any different outcome, as far as investigations are concerned. No charge sheet filed. And now, 5 years after the incident, almost 5 years.
Report, which simply, sort of confirms the theory of so many people that this was political witch hunt, this was politically motivated, and this was done to perhaps, satisfy certain sections of the media or certain sections of the political outfit. So that's what it perhaps means. But as far as this case is concerned, now that a closure report has been filed, this is the end of this particular case. CBI has not been able to find any evidence to establish foul play, as was being alleged by the family members and as was part of the FIR. It vindicates Mumbai police's stand, which time and again had been stating that this was just a case of suicide. There was no foul play. The injury marks did not signify any sort of foul play there. And the backgrounder, even in terms of abetment to suicide, nothing really suggested that he was under any sort of duress or torture from Riya Chakrabarti or her family members. This is what the Mumbai police had conclusively stated. CBI, several of the CBI officials and, Bihar police officials we spoke to at the time did not have much to really add to it, because AIMS report as well as the report from the hospital here, Cooper Hospital here, and multiple other medical authorities revealed that there were no other injury marks other than the injury marks that one gets when somebody commits a suicide. So therefore, all of these reports pointed to the fact that this was suicide, which is why CBI couldn't really come up with anything new, even in terms of accounts of witnesses, eyewitnesses, family members, Riya Chakrabarti. We know for a fact that nothing really led them to believe that this was a case of murder or abetment to suicide. So at this point, this was a big win as far as Mumbai police to an extent is concerned, a big relief for Riya Chakrabarti and her family members who had undergone a lot of torture and harassment at that point. She was, multiple cases were filed against her, not just by the local police, but not just by the Bihar police or the CBI, but by the NCB, by the enforcement director. There were all kinds of charges against her, all kinds of allegations against her, that she was doing black magic, that she had extorted money from him. There were financial transactions. None of it really could be proved by the Central Bureau of Investigation. So all of these cases, in a way, all of these allegations, in a way, has been nullified.
Right, Radhika. So as far as the significance of this particular case is concerned, does this imply that the investigation has conclusively determined that there was no foul play in this particular case?
Yes, absolutely. That is what it is trying to say. It has concluded that no evidence was found to establish any sort of foul play in this case, which is when a closure report is filed by any agency or any police. when they're not able to really come to a logical conclusion as far as their allegations or charges are concerned. In this case, there were allegations of abetment, there were allegations of murder, there were allegations of cheating, and all kinds of charges against Riya Chakrabarti and her family members. Riya Chakrabarti had also filed a case against other family members as they had distorted a lot of documents and facts. So all of these cases have been nullified by the CBI. We know for a fact that CBI had kept mum after the case was registered. There was no information on the progress of the case, no charge sheet filed, nothing really as to how they were planning to, prove many of those allegations. So be it in terms of the AIMS medical report or any other medical report or witness accounts, as I mentioned before, nothing really indicated that Riya Chakrabarti was behind the death, there was any sort of foul play, and in a way indicating that this was nothing but a case of suicide. But at that point, it became a huge media hype. She was subjected to a lot of harassment, Riya Chakrabarti and her family members. And there were a lot of theories floating around, people still questioning, there seems to have been more than that meets the eye. How could a star like Sushant Singh Rajput die by suicide? And we know for a fact that at that time, we had spoken to multiple doctors. He was, speaking to a lot of psychiatrists he was speaking to, and what kind of duress and stress he was under, the medications he was taking, how he was under depression. So all that was very conveniently ignored by Central Bureau of Investigation or by the Bihar police, and to suggest that there is, foul play there. But here, in a way, CBI not able to find any evidence to suggest otherwise. So therefore, they have filed this closure report, which vindicates Riya Chakrabarti's stand, gives her some sort of relief, and also vindicates the stand of Mumbai police, which had conclusively at the time stated that this was a case of suicide.